Hello, guys. Welcome back. I'm Ray. Welcome to Connect with Uganda. Today, I have a very exciting episode for you guys. I do have a guest. Kellen Cache is going to give us some tips about first-time travelers to Africa. So, if you're joining the stream, you start by giving the stream a thumbs up. Let me know your name in the live chat and drop a comment. Let me know where you're tuning in from, and we're going to begin the discussion shortly. I'm just going to wait for one person to join the stream and then we shall start immediately. So, how have you guys been? Thank you so much for subscribing. The family is growing, and of course, we changed the channel name as well to connect with Uganda, so which is really exciting. So, if you join the stream, I give it a thumbs up. Let me know who is here and let me know where you're joining from. So I'm going to add Kellen. He is already here and we shall start the discussion immediately, right away. Hi, Kellen.
Hey Ray, how you doing?
I'm okay. How are you?
Awesome, as usual.
Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me, Ray. I'm excited to talk to you and your audience so we can connect with Uganda all the
Yes.
way from, the States.
Yeah, it looks so sunny there. I mean, it's like midnight my side, so and it's like 5 p.m. where you are, probably like 5 past 5 p.m. right now, right?
Yes. It's 5 p.m. here on the east southern coast. And, you have the real sun, Ray. I mean, you have sun more than we have sun. So it's just because of the time shift. But your sun it makes the fruit sweeter on that side.
I agree. So you're going to introduce yourself and then you can start the discussion.
Okay. Well, I am Kellen Cache Coleman, and I want to say, a friend of Ray, and have seen her growth on YouTube. And I said, Ray, let me talk about my course, because I wrote a course that can help those who have never come to the 54 countries in Africa. And I wanted people to have, take the guesswork out of coming to Africa. And you know what, Ray? One of your interviews that I've told you privately kind of inspired to say, I really do need to do this, because you were laughing at how ignorant some of us are and how unfriendly sometimes some of us are when people come here. And the one line where you were in tears is when you said, when your friend had told you in the interview, you could say hi to somebody and you could talk to them, and then tomorrow they don't know you. So I said, before, any more people go to Africa and don't know how to conduct themselves, let me just take the guesswork out. Let me show them how welcoming Africa will be and how not to get duped, because that's the number one thing people ask. How do I know I'm going to be safe? How do I know I'm going to get around? So I'm showing you how to do it, because I've done it, and not just with myself, but with big groups, as well as my own family when we go home.
Oh, when you go home, interesting. So your home is in Africa? To my understanding, you're African American. You live in Florida, right?
I do now. When you met me, I lived in Seattle. But yeah, I do now, but I have a home there.
Okay, which country?
Ray. Oh, for the audience.
Oh, Cameroon. Okay. Yes.
Yeah. I was going to say, is this the real Ray? Is this the real Ray?
Oh, yes. You told me your wife is from Cameroon, right?
She is. So it was much easier for me than it might be for others for Cameroon. But I also have a few investments, if not a handful investments on the continent, from Nigeria to Ghana. Had something in Kenya. I don't want to talk about that one, because that one isn't going. We did a deal with a bad business partner. We're actually getting into our first lawsuit on the continent. So I can talk about preparing to go to Africa, but also putting your money where your mouth is, and investing, and hopefully relocation will be a course when we decide to relocate 6 months on, 6 months off in the near future.
Okay, great. So, yes, you've told us about your experience in Africa, but would like to know why should people buy the course?
Well,
Tell
people
us a
should buy,
little bit more about the course.
yeah, people should buy it if they're serious about traveling, because I made it affordable for everybody. And all of my courses, I will do my best to make them affordable, whether I'm talking about investing, how to deal with your kids, or how to live debt free. But they need to buy it if they're serious, because I'm even showing them travel hacks on how to get cheaper flights, how to exchange your money. A lot of people, they can't get their head around, what do you mean you can exchange money on the street? Yes, and it's totally fine, and you're going to be safe. 9 out of 10 times. I mean, I have never had a problem. I don't know anyone who's had a problem, but I don't want to make it. I want to show you how to do it and put in your mind what some of the laws may be. We're talking about 54 countries and counting, right? Because there's countries right now that are trying to split and become their own. But if you're serious, you invest the $20 because you're about to buy, $1,000 ticket to go somewhere. And what we saw is tickets are cheaper than ever, and you need to know how to buy it. But people who might have had like a negative experience traveling, whether it's to Africa or Europe, it's because they didn't have enough information and that they believed something that wasn't true. And I get calls weekly from people in different countries, and sometimes I hear how people are going broke, and then they go online and say, hey, can you help me get home? It's all you had to do was come and talk to someone who's more experienced, who also has partners in these different countries. So pretty much almost every country, if you want to go, connect, we have somebody who's a trusted partner of ours that we can connect you with.
Yeah, interesting. Because I was going to ask you, all African countries are different. So what applies to one country might not apply to another country. So if you talk about it being a general course, how am I sure that if I'm interested in going to Zimbabwe, I should buy that course? I'm interested in going to Morocco or Egypt. Like, would you touch on what is inside apart from the how to get the cheap flights, maybe how to exchange money on the streets, maybe how to create rapport with the locals? Like, what else? Are there like general traveling tips? Because I'm thinking 54 countries is so diverse. Like, the North Africa is completely different from the Central or the South. So, how is it possible that it's a general course for everyone?
Well, traveling to over 18 countries, what I believe is a traveler needs a manual, and where you're going, I'd like to put things all in try to the same box. So yes, Africa on the west, or if you're on the east, can be different. My first travel, I went to South Africa, where everybody says, "Oh, that's not the real Africa," making it seem like South Africa doesn't have real Africans, because you have a higher white population, Mzungu population. I think we need to look at it different. We're more alike than we are different. You in Kenya, in Uganda, which you call ugali, somebody in Malawi, mulibonji to anybody in Malawi, they'll call in sema. But then when you go to the West, the same cassava is, gari, fufu, right? Like, we're eating the same thing, calling it something different, maybe preparing it different, but we need to stop acting like we have something special. The whole world, pretty much, God gave the same ingredient, and it's how you remix it. So as far as the travel, after you get your flight, after you learn what languages, because I tap into languages and talk about the different dialects in the different countries, and I even have a quiz in it to, show people, where do they speak Portuguese? How many countries? Because people need to not be so ignorant. You'll never know everything about that country, even if you go there for a month, even if you go for a year. Same thing with the States. But you'll be more informed, and you won't be duped, because some people get duped because somebody tells them, come, and all you need is $500 and you'll be rich out here. And that's not the truth of the matter. They think they can build a house for $2,000, where $2,000, you will be quite right in most African countries, if not all, as long as you're not on like Lakey Island or somewhere, very, you can spend $1 million anywhere, but you're going to be more informed. And if you want to be an informed traveler, and if you want to be an informed business person, you get it through courses sometimes. Because I don't know, and you correct me if I'm wrong, there's no other YouTuber who has written a course on how you travel. They've told you what they've done, but they didn't say how they did it in a step-by-step. So here I am to tell people how you do it. And they call me the professor of PR and consulting because that's what I do, as you know.
Okay, wow, interesting. So, have you done other courses before? Is this your first course on Africa? Is it a second one?
This is the first official course. I mentor people weekly in various things. So I've sent, even during this pandemic, with someone you probably know, Ty Nichols, we've sent people to Rwanda, right, as part of work. We've sent them. As far as courses, when I was in grad school, I taught. So I had to create courses. So that's where, I kind of know what I'm doing, because those were projects you had to do to finish. And so you're not getting somebody practicing courses. I always think these courses will evolve, but the audience will, once they purchase, will have a lifetime membership to these courses, as long as my teachable agreement, does not go anywhere. And people, because policies can change, software can change. But once you go through this course, I've made it easy enough, but deep enough for you to be able to hold it, study it, and keep it with you. And, yeah, that's my answer on that. But it's not my first course, but it's my first course that I've let publicly known, because most people can't afford my services. And most people don't understand even what a consultant or a business manager for influencers does.
Okay, interesting. So when they buy the course, how much time are they going to take to go through the whole course? What's the easiest way to digest it? Can they just, read it as they're traveling? Do they need to read the entire course before the travel? How
Well,
can they digest it?
well, they can digest it at their own pace. You can't fail the course. You can go through it via video. If you're one of those who you like to read more, there's some written documentation on most, if not any slide, so you can read it and read as, we go along, and it's self-paced. And, you can't fail. So I don't want people to be intimidated. For those who say, I wasn't good at school, take your time. Watch one slide or two slides a day. And if you don't understand it, rewind it. If it was too simple and you're like, oh, I already know that, okay, go to the next slide and knock it out. But it's nothing that's going to take you even 2 days to go through, if you want to go through it all. And some of it, you might say, you know what? I bought my ticket. Let me go to the other side. Oh, okay, I got my vaccine, because in many places you're going to need your yellow fever card. And I talk about, for those who don't want to take vaccines, and I'm not talking about COVID yet, but I get into that. It's, what if you're in a place in Africa and you want to go travel around? It's easier to get your yellow card in your home country than to try to scramble around a place you may not even speak the language.
Okay. So you said you have a business partner in Rwanda, if I heard you right. Would you tell us more about what you're doing in Rwanda and maybe other African countries if you're already doing some business here?
All I'm doing in anything that I do in any business is I'm serving. So Ty Nichols, I consider him a friend. He's a very trustworthy, not just real estate agent, but influencer. He is bringing people to Rwanda to teach them how to sell and buy real estate, because he's tired of people having excuses on why they don't go to Africa. So, he said, let me, in my relocation with his wife, who's from Togo, let me go and let me bring people. So he houses people, He feeds people, he shows them, and he trains people. And he does it for a great price. And we just get to be the billboard. And Ray, I'm a quiet guy, but when I need to talk, I'm gonna talk, and I'll let the whole world know. And I'll say, hey, Ray, what do we need to do to get this? And we'll make it happen, because we want to connect with Uganda, we want to connect with Africa, and we want people to come back with a great experience with the Rwanda program.
Okay, so you're working with him to take people to Rwanda. That's what you said, right? And he's teaching them how to do real estate there.
Yes.
Oh,
they're all loving it, right? Everybody has come back with a smile, because him and his wife are very nice, and they've learned something, and people are finding everything from land to love in Rwanda.
Okay, interesting. So back to your course, if someone buys the course and they don't like it, can they return it?
Oh, yeah. It's on Teachable, so it is refundable. And for those who just kind of want to peek around and kick the tires, I didn't write this course to make $1 million and go in the sunset in the palm trees. I'm already in the palm trees. I wrote this course to give back, because everybody in my circle, they've heard me talk about Africa. Some of them have already gone, right? So I'm doing this as the cheapest give back that I could do, on top of everything else that I won't talk about here, because you're not supposed to let the left hand know what the right is doing, but they can if they want to kick around tires. But why take a course and disrespect yourself and say, I'm just going to go check and see what it is, try to memorize the information, take screenshots, and then want my $20 back? That's dusty. And if you're that dusty, we don't even want you on the continent. We don't want you there, because you'll be the same person who eats the plum or the pineapple and say, it's not as sweet as I thought when you get to Africa. And the people in the marketplace, if you try to return something, how difficult that can be at the local market.
Anyway, $20 is very little, so I don't see anyone buying it and returning it. Yeah, it's very little money, really. I agree with you. Okay, interesting. So, leaving the course aside, you've told us why we should buy it. We've understood that. What are some of your favorite things about Africa? Why do you think it's important for diaspora Africans to come to Africa, or even to be knowledgeable about how to come to Africa, how to travel to Africa? Why is it important, in your opinion?
It's important because they've lied to us in school about many things, and especially Africa. And you hear all the influencers that, we represent, and you hear people just say it over and over. But what are you going to do about it? You can't complain about the Chinese and the Wazungus going to Africa, and when you get there, you're upset when you haven't invested your money. And some folks haven't invested their time. So you have to be in the game to win. And we know, many people say Babylon, Babylon. All that fluff language it's fluff if you're not putting action towards it. But there are many people who are putting action towards it. So I want you to be in that group that's putting action towards it, because some people are going to die here, even when Babylon burns up. They're going to be like, oh, and this and that. But you and your family might have a second place to be. And that's what I want for everybody. I at least want you to go see it. We know Africa's not for everybody, but everybody at least will have the chance and the knowledge. Even in my course, some people may hear something and say, you know what? I've heard this before, and I don't think Africa's for me. I'd rather go to Europe. I'd rather go to Asia. And that's your choice. But for those who want to tap into Africa, this course is for you.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think Africa is for everyone, actually. Okay, I'm hearing something in the background. Yeah, I think sometimes you just have to come and do your first visit. I feel the vibe, the people, the environment, how we do things. You might not like it. You might be like, you know what, this is too much. Maybe it's too slow. I can't deal with the dust, I can't deal with these systems, This is just not for me, I'll come and visit. Whereas someone else is going to kind of be like, oh my God, yeah, this really feels like home. This is where I belong. So, true, I agree with you. I think Africa is not for everyone. Whereas I think everyone should just come and try it out, and see before they make that big decision. I do agree with you. So, as a traveler who has come to Africa before, what has been some of your biggest challenges? Okay, I think you have a very good advantage. You have an advantage because your wife is African. But what has been some of the biggest, maybe culture shocks, if I may ask you?
Culture shocks. I haven't had many culture shocks. I went to Africa. Even I think I knew my wife. Yeah, I knew my wife when I went. But I went, as a single man who grew up with Africans, who grew up with really the whole world. But the culture shock, I haven't had any because I understand that the whole world, after you do so much traveling, that it's not all the U.S. Even the U.S., there's, certain places that are better in customer service. Some of the funniest stuff is when I've seen, Africans come back to Africa and try to act like it's America, like customer service, and say, get me the manager. And I've seen an African smooth at the hotel just cross their arms like this, like, no. And, because Americans can be sometimes so entitled and just think that, oh, because I said it and I snapped my fingers. And so really for me, when I go to a place, I take off all the baggage and I'm just going to be me. And that has worked well with me. Now, my biggest challenge, which wasn't shocking, was in Limbe, which is my dream place in Cameroon, where we have a plot. I ate snails on the beach with a fellow YouTuber, Cameroonian's biggest YouTuber, Emma Top 10. He's changed the name of his show, but that's a friend of mine, and he gave me snails. And he's like, you eat snails? I said, yeah, I eat snails. And I ate those snails, and I didn't see any fire. My wife said, don't eat that. And I should have listened, because besides having a nibba, like my child has had, one of my children have had, I also got E. coli. And I had every symptom of E. coli except death. And I'll spare your audience the details. You can look it up. But, I mean, I was bleeding out of places a man didn't even know he could bleed out of.
You ate a snail?
Yeah. And I came back to America, after getting, I came back and I've had snails at what Cameroonians call a sequoia. And I've had snails before and again, and I didn't get sick. But I'm
so disgusting.
Well, I'm a sous chef, so I like to, cook it up in the kitchen, and I like to see what the other chefs, and I love to eat off the street, no matter where I go. The street has the best meat.
Oh my God, I didn't know you eat snails, Kellen. Wow. I rather eat a snake, but not a snail. Snails are like so disgusting, I can't.
That's where I draw the line, right?
So the question that I have for you, your wife is from Cameroon. Did you pay bride price when you're going to marry her?
No, she told me when she was 18, when we met at uni, that she was totally against that. My father-in-law, who is right over here, he reminds me often that, in a joking way, but I did not, because she is totally against that. She thinks it devalues women. And you know what she told me? She's like, you'll want your money back.
So you didn't take cows, and things like that?
No, we did it very untraditional African, where we didn't even have a wedding, to be honest with you. We, what they call elope, because we had just got out of school. I had just stopped working on the Hill for a Congress member. And we just wanted to get married so, we could do it the right way and learn each other. We already knew each other for, many years. So I didn't have to do all that. But I can tell you that my father-in-law is here, and he's always welcome in my house. and he is my drinking buddy. So even in Cameroon, when we're in Cameroon, he's my drinking buddy. Here, he's my drinking buddy. I get sad when he leaves, but I have to prepare my mind because I've been told I'm being selfish and that he has many other kids he has to go see. So, but he'll stay here for months at a time whenever he chooses.
Okay, cool. So you guys are young lovebirds, I see. Okay. Someone has a question for you. Can you read it on the screen? Can you see it?
I can pull it up. I was trying not to, distract myself.
Okay, they're
But,
asking,
yeah.
what tribe is your wife from?
Oh, she's a mix. So they probably, unless they're, I'll say this so I don't tell all her business because she's from a warrior tribe, but she's what they call an Anglophone and a Francophone. And anybody who knows that, I don't want to tell all her business because she probably wouldn't appreciate it, but that's as much as I can give on that. If you want to know
Really?
more about her tribe, tribe,
Anglo. That sounds European, not African.
Yeah, well, I'm giving it as they say it in, most of it, is it Anglophone, Francophone? She's a mix. Her mother speaks French and her father speaks English naturally. They both speak all the languages. Cameroon is, bilingual country, but yeah, she's a mix. If you want to know more about her lineage, go to CNA2TOMD.com and you can ask her those questions and she'll sell you a course on how to become a healthcare professional or an entrepreneur.
So, what do you do to get an African wife? Someone is saying, I'm coming to look for my village champion. If some of your friends want to leave the US to come to Africa, do you have tips for getting an African wife since you already have one?
Tips on
But your wife is more American, right? She studied in the US.
Well, she came here when she was 18, and she's been able to go back. She's all African, but if you want an African wife, I have a course on a consulting thing where I do one-on-one. I have 4 couples that I've helped get married, and I do that as kind of a side project because I know good people and I can hear certain things. So if you want a high-value African wife, make sure you email me, and I'm going to tell you we're going to have to do some one-on-one consulting because it's more than getting an African wife. They're not like plums or mangoes. They might taste like sweet mangoes, but you're going to first have to peel back the skin, and I'm going to have to show you and help you no matter if she's an African wife or if she's an American wife, because many folks just don't even know how to treat a wife.
What does high value mean? I never knew that term until I started to watch like some American YouTubers calling certain things high value man, high value women. And I'm like, what is that? Like, what are they talking about? Until I heard if you're a high value man, you have to be making 6 figures. I have heard of this stuff on YouTube. Like, so what do you mean by a high value African woman? Try to define that. I want to know what you mean.
Well, the first question, I think we're all high value because God made us, and we didn't have any, we couldn't say, no, make me more taller or make me shorter. So I was giving a play on words for the audience that might, be from that manosphere that following Ray, the beauty queen. And I wanted to give them something that they could recognize. And to me, a high value woman, and you could almost say it for a man. I don't know, because that's not, I don't know. I don't date men. So I talk about women. It's somebody who's going to be there for you when you're in the hospital. And when you and is also going to cook and prepare your meals when you can't. Not to say we can't cook. I had told you before, I'm a chef. But high value are people who work on themselves daily, because a lot of folks want instant gratification, right? A lot of people just want it now. They see just the surface, but the scriptures even tell you beauty fades. So if you're only looking at beauty, or if you're a woman and you're only looking at the money that person has now, I can tell you, you're probably not ready for what a real high value person is, because it's bigger than money. And, I'm not in a bad position with that. I'm debt free. So I can talk about money and that's why I can write a course on being debt free, where others can just talk online, right? They can talk online a good game, but I'm not asking and begging folks for money. I'm giving something. I'm presenting something people need, not saying, hey, show something in the Cash App. So high value African women, again, they have to, sign up and do some one-on-one and see if they qualify for a white period.
Okay, someone here says high value is a mindset. Mr. Truth says high value is a mindset. I
Yes.
think I agree with it because everyone has their standards, everyone has what they want and what they're looking for, depending on who they are as an individual. So everyone's
Yep.
definition of high value could vary from one person to another.
Ray, can I ask you a question? If somebody out there is single and looking for somebody, should they go to somebody who is single, who has no one, or should they go to somebody who has been married for a lengthy amount of time? Why are people listening to single people talk about how to get somebody? You should go to your aunts, your uncles who have been married, who have dedicated themselves. And things aren't perfect in any marriage. So you can find flaws in those people's marriage, but the fact that they're still married gives them more weight than the person who is single and has nobody.
I agree with you. Definitely. When you're getting advice, then you should get it from someone who has experience, of course. Yes, I agree with you. So, my question to you would be okay, a big case says most women will not consider you high value unless you have top 10% money.
I mean, those might be the women you deal with, and I would say switch it up, because I know a lot of folks who have the gift of gab. I'm from Okanda, and if you don't know where that is, that's Oakland, California. I know people with the gift of gab and actually treat people nice who had nothing, and women have, built them up. I've seen folks come out of prison and, have lawyers and doctors and judges. So it might be you. It might be your swag. It might be that you're always trying to get something instead of give. So I would say switch up the mindset, and it's never too late to do that. But get with a team that's not just selling you a dream. Get with some folks that actually have goals, and you see them working on their goals, and you say, I like their lifestyle. I want to follow that. And that's game tight.
Okay, I agree with you. Yeah, it's not everyone. It depends on the person, really. I agree with that. So my question to you would be, because you said you have a good experience in Africa, I could have my own perspective. I'm African, born and raised here. But when you're coming from the diaspora, your eyes see differently, your mind thinks or look at things differently. So when you guys come here, you see a lot of opportunities. I do believe there is huge opportunities as well. So in your experience traveling in Africa, what sectors or what things do you think would be interesting for diasporans to invest in, or to start business in?
If folks go to, I call it a project site for us, Mall of Africa .africa. So not .com, but .africa. Mall of Africa.africa. Don't be, shocked if it takes you to the Mall for Africa.africa. Sometimes I get confused. They're the same site with different domains, and they sign in. They will actually see investments that we have vetted, and some of them that we're doing. And they can go see things from agriculture. They can see things from investing in cologne in Ghana. I do that with my friend Rodney Ahenkin. So my course that I do is I want to say it's underneath a show that I do, and you can see it on diversifiedgame.com, the course. And you'll see that it's a podcast and a YouTube. And I talk to multimillionaires in Africa and in the States and in Israel. And a lot of these people are investing. So I love trash, anything to do with insects. I like Echo Doodoo in Kenya has really, those are new friends of ours that we may be doing some business with another healthcare business. So there's so much, but it's really what I would tell all Americans are those coming from the UK, I would say whatever you're doing now, try to do that over there because you might have an upper hand due to software technology. What I really love is ways to clean up Africa. So if we can find ways to take waste and then, make some gold out of it and sell it or have it be the fuel, because I don't like dirty streets at all. And in some neighborhoods, the poorer neighborhoods, in certain places, it's ridiculous, right? But if we could turn that into some money, we would find that the government and everybody else would jump on and say, we're about to make money with this. So
Yeah.
whatever you're interested in, you can make some money in Africa, but you need a plan. And the most important thing is you need some partners, because you trying to do it yourself, it's going to be so much harder.
That's very true. I agree with you. And I like you talking about West because that's a huge opportunity in Uganda. So if there is anyone out here watching this video, if you know how to clean waste and make it useful, please come to Uganda. I'm here ready to show you everything. Yeah. That's true, and I think it's quite an interesting question when people ask me what business opportunities are available there. I feel all business opportunities are available, but at the end of the day, it comes back to what you enjoy doing as a person, what makes sense to you, what resonates with you. When you come and you feel the vibe, like you can pick up on something. So you could say real estate, you could say agriculture, you could say maybe transport as well. But sometimes, depending on what someone likes to do and what their mind picks on, you can pretty much do any business here. I do agree with you. So, Mr. Truth says we need to link up with each other more and build relationships that will be productive for us all. Yeah, that's very true.
Amen. And I'll tell anybody who has a great idea and you've done your pitch deck and you're looking for angel investors or venture capital, after you go through the course, send an email, give me some feedback. Give me some feedback on the course. And if you have a good idea, let's hook up, because I have actually, some venture capitalists. That's not a difficult thing for us to find money for a great idea. Now, it has to be a good idea, and you have to have the stamina to keep it going. Sometimes, go back to high value. People want high value, but they don't have the stamina to keep it up for what even a rock needs. They don't even want to take care of a rock, not to speak of a person, because there's things you have to implement into people and into projects. So, and venture capitalists and angels don't just give money away. You're going to have to prove to them that you are the right person to get the money. And, your past performance might have a play in that, or who introduces you. Because, before I introduce you to my friends who do that, and we do that, you first have to show me your idea even has, a chance out of your, personality. Don't try to pressure somebody. Oh, please just give me some money. Give me some money. That doesn't work. There's a lot of venture capitalists, Ray, who want to give money, but people aren't prepared because they're not ready for that high value.
Yes, I agree with you. I agree with you for sure. Yeah. And talking more about linking up, I'm going to be doing something to help the diasporans who want to come here. So towards the end of the year, I'm planning of setting up a trip for Uganda, because I'm doing it Connect with Uganda. So I'm inviting you and all your friends. But I'm still preparing myself, so I'll communicate in the near future. But just to let you know in advance, for sure.
Ray, you know the number, and I think I've told you before privately, when we get to Uganda and we link up, there's going to be no sleep, and we want you to show us everything and just running here, running there. It's no sleep when we get to Africa. You sleep in the car on the way to the next place.
Yeah, so Mr. Truth says some people want to make an investment and make a return a week later. This is not how business works or entrepreneurship are definitely not the way how it works,
Yeah. Not at all. Not at all. But you don't have to. I don't want anyone to think you have to have a degree to get help. but there's a way of dealing with, I'll say, investors, and there's a way of especially dealing with Western investors, because again, you have, even the Asians, when you do business in Asia, there's a different way that they do business, and it would behoove you to learn how they conduct themselves, and why they don't shake hands in certain places. And if you can't do that, you're probably not ready. You're not serious. And you're going to need partners for sure to show you the way.
Yes, so I do agree with you, but I also want to say that we do have some young minds that are really serious, and the challenge they have is like only capital, how do we move from this step to another? So if we bridge this gap, if I have here in Uganda people from the diaspora maybe visiting for 10 days or 12 days, depending on what I'm going to put together, and have some young entrepreneurs doing their presentations, you never know, we could find like a connection. You never know, they'll find someone to fund, they'll find someone to connect with. So for sure, with the new direction that I'm taking with the channel, I believe we shall do great things here. Yeah, I believe we shall do great things here. So I
Amen.
think I've asked you all the questions, Kellen. I don't know what else you have to add. Where do people find your course?
They can find it at diversifiedgame.com, and they can,
You type it and I put it on the screen. If you type it in the comment, then I can put it on the screen.
I'm going to type it in the comments while I ask you a question, Ray, just so we can find out from your opinion, what do you think the number one mistake when you see Americans come to Uganda? What do you see, the mistakes that they make or the things that they could work on?
That's an interesting one. So what mistake do they make? In my opinion, I think most of them are not open-minded enough. They easily get, turned off, or easily get biased, or small things will piss them off, because it's a completely different culture, completely different environment. We look the same physically. Like if you won't say any word, I'm probably going to think that like you're my brother from the village. It's until you open your mouth and say something. Like we look exactly the same, but we are completely different. And I feel most of them, if you want to come here, please just come with an open mind, because you'll be challenged. Yes, I think they just open enough. Yeah.
Cheers, an open mind. That's where it starts. An open mind and an open wallet, because you need to be able to come and afford the trip and not worry about the little things, because you let the little things, in your country, in America or in Canada, wherever you're coming from.
Yeah, that's true. So have you typed the link in the live chat?
I did. Can you see it? I see it under Mr. Truth, the diversifiedgame.com. Can you see it?
No, I just see you say you're welcome, and that's it.
Really? I typed it again. I typed it two or three times. Am I banned on your thing? I'm not a moderator, so am I banned, Ray?
No.
Did I say something that got me where you said we removed him? And I did it from my diversified game account. I'm also going to send it to you in my Kellen Cache, where, Ray, I should be a moderator on this channel, because when you go live, I watch as much as possible. But
so it's diversifiedgame.what.com. Okay, let me type it.
And if you can't see it on my thing, people, I'll try to get the camera, try to rotate it.
Is that
it?
Thank
you. That's it. That is it. Diversifiedgame.com.
So that's where they should find the course, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah, so guys, that was it. But I can hear myself on your phone. I think you should turn down the volume.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So guys, that was it with Kellen Cache. You have a podcast, you have a YouTube channel. I watch your channel sometimes. Where else can people find you? Your
They can go.
Instagram.
They can go to Casey at cprfirm.com if they want to email me. They can go to cprfirm.com if they want to see our site, book a session, have a very simple site that takes you, says book time, and you can book some time, whether you're looking for business, looking for travels, looking for love. I can be found under Kellen Cache with a K, that is, on Instagram and YouTube and everything else. I'm not hard to find.
Okay. Thank you so much, Kellen.
Thank you, Ray.
And enjoy your evening.
Oh, you too, Ray.
Okay. Bye. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. I hope you learned a thing or two with Kellen. And yeah, if you watch this later, make sure you leave a comment in the comment section. Let us know what you think. And I'll see you all, guys. And of course, a like, a share, and subscribe. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye.